at ya, bad at ya. Tell ya what's master, coming at ya, coming at ya. Rhyme style disaster, coming at ya, bad.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nigel Ashford, and welcome to Outspoken. Today is an actual interesting episode because for the first time, we are doing our cooking segment. Joining me is my roommate, Greg.
Hello.
Well, Greg, just say hello. I was going to say hello, Greg. So Greg is my roommate. He is a way better cook than I am. So during this entire process, Greg is going to be assisting me because we don't want to burn the house down. So we're gonna try our best to make this into something purely delicious.
Okay.
Joining us tonight is Desmond Robinson, also called The Author. Desmond is from Memphis. He is a very well-known chef, has been traveling all around the world, serving so many people and also filling a lot of bellies. So I would love to present our guest tonight, Chef Extraordinaire, Robinson. Welcome, D. How are you doing, man?
Hey guys, how are y'all?
Wonderful.
We're doing good, man. What? And you're, I'm trying to make you look good, man. I'm trying to market you and get you more clients.
You did a great job. I appreciate that.
No, no problem, D. Okay, D, I know you're from Memphis. Are you currently in Memphis still now?
No, I live in Brooklyn, New York, but I still do a lot of business in Memphis.
Awesome. So, D, I know you went to school for this. You studied this. You didn't finish. You said you felt that you could actually do this yourself, and you're more self-taught than anything.
Yeah. So I went to culinary school. I always wanted to be a chef. Growing up, I always wanted to be a chef. And so I tried to go to culinary school after undergrad, but it was just a little too expensive. So I was in culinary school for maybe one quarter, which was maybe just a couple of weeks of school. We never stepped foot in the actual kitchen. Everything we did was in the classroom. I took maybe nutrition and food safety, that kind of stuff. Before I had to drop out because it was too expensive. I already had debt from undergrad. So I couldn't afford culinary school loans. And so, yes, it's primarily self-taught chefing that got me to where I am today.
Awesome, D. But that's one thing I just love, especially when it comes to our African-American culture and African-American people. If we think about our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, even our grandfathers and our ancestors, they were all self-taught, and their food is the ones that are loved the most.
I completely agree.
D, are you there?
You broke up a little bit at the end, but I heard the beginning of what you were saying. And yes, it's a lot like our forefathers and foremothers, our grandmothers, our grandfathers. You know, back in the day, they just had to use what they had and be creative and be resourceful with making food. Honestly, that's where good soul food, good Southern cuisine came from. From Africa throughout slavery, they had to protect these traditions and be creative using whatever they had. And so, in many regards, my career of just learning on the go, learning with the recipes that I had knowledge of, learning with the food in front of me, learning with the clients that I had access to, it's kind of how I got my start. I never got a lot of training from culinary school, never worked in a professional kitchen, never worked in a professional restaurant. It was just, taking the stuff that I learned from mama, grandmama, aunties, uncles, daddy, godparents, and making a business out of it. And it's worked out for me.
Awesome, D. So today here with us, helping us to cook, helping us to make one of your well-known dishes. Now tell me exactly, what are we going to be making today?
So today we are making a rosemary and garlic pan-seared lamb chop. I know.
Okay.
I'm hungry just thinking about it. I'm hungry right now just thinking about it. But yeah, it's really quick, really simple, really sexy. If you're trying to impress somebody on like a cute little date, you throw this lamb chop on there. It's really quick and simple, but they don't know that. They think you work really, really hard. They think you're gourmet. And you might have won over, got you like a little forever boo or whatever.
So this is that meal that you make just in case you messed up Valentine's Day. So this is really your do-over.
Get it right.
Listen, it's this meal can get you out of the doghouse. This meal can impress somebody. This meal can impress yourself. This is this meal is very, very versatile in that way. And so whether you messed it up once or not, or whether you are just trying to impress somebody for the first time, I think this meal is really, really easy and impressive. It doesn't take a lot, but when you say lamb chops, lamb is one of those things that if you can cook it right, people are impressed no matter how easy it was. So I'm going to show you how to make it really easy and impress people who think that it's hard.
All right. So let's look at these ingredients right here and see what's all included. So first of all, of course, lamb chops.
Mhm.
And then we have the rosemary.
Yes. Fresh herbs.
Black pepper,
Mm-hmm.
sea salt,
Mm-hmm.
garlic,
Yes.
olive oil, and last but not least, lemon. Did I get everything right there?
You did a good job, friend. You did a really good job. I'm proud of
Thank you. It was a struggle.
you. You were sending me messages like, is this right?
Just like, Greg, I need this. And what was it, Greg? I think first it was the lemon.
Let me see.
I was getting ready to get lemon juice instead of fresh lemons. And then
Even so,
But I have
technically,
to
I think it would work. For the sake of this recipe, if you can just buy a quick lemon and squeeze it yourself, the fresher the better. But if you bought store-bought lemon juice, it would still be a great dish.
also, okay, so even if I could have messed it up, but I still could have came back still strong. And all right, so what's the first thing that we're gonna do?
All right, so I'm gonna move my camera a bit so you can get a better view of what I'm doing here.
Okay.
All right. Can everybody see my cutting board okay?
And first of all, guys, we washed our hands before the show started, so we're not cleaning with dirty fingers. I think that's the first thing that we really want to know. We're not cleaning with dirty fingers.
Same here. All right. So to get this party started, you could have either bought minced garlic or mince it yourself. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually mince some of this garlic myself. So I have a lot of lamb chops here, more than I told you to have, about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic and some fresh rosemary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting up my fresh garlic here to get it into nice minced pieces. And I think you already bought yours minced, so you don't have to do all of this.
Yes, Greg was our savior when it came to that. He was like, we good. And I was like, okay,
Right.
all right.
Life hard, food don't need to be.
Food don't need to be. I like that.
The inner chef in me feels like I need to chop it for it to be a real thing.
Okay. We're gonna let you do your thing, and we're gonna.
But the guy in me who is like wants to cook really, really quickly on the fly. So I do have minced garlic in the fridge, so I use that sometime too. But today, for the sake of instruction, I'm just gonna chop this garlic up really finely. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this garlic into a paste with the rosemary, and we're gonna slather that all over our lamb chops to just make them super, super flavorful and rich. I have about 8 lamb chops here. Garlic is one of those things that doesn't have salt in it. It's really, really good for you. It's really good for your blood. It's really good for your health. And so the more garlic, the better. If you don't have anybody that you're kissing in the mouth tonight, or if the person you're kissing in the mouth tonight is also eating garlic, the more garlic, the better. It's good for your blood. It's good for your health. Right now, we're in the COVID. We're in the pandemic. We want to do anything we can to kind of keep our bodies healthy. And so garlic is one of those ways to go.
Okay. So, D, one thing while you're cutting that up, I just want to ask you a couple of questions.
Go for
it. Everybody knows you for these collard green egg rolls that you're making. That's one thing that I was just seeing time after time with these collard green egg rolls. How did you come up with that?
So I honestly can't take all of the credit. My sister, who actually lives in Chicago, several years ago went to the Taste of Chicago. And it's like a big food festival where you get to eat all kind of different groovy things. And like, because it's a food festival, it's kind of like fair food on steroids. They are basically all the coolest, weirdest, most innovative food you can think of, they have there. And so she had that. That was she went, and maybe this was 2007, 8. It was that long ago. And she tried these collard green egg rolls, and she came back home to Memphis like, yo, this food truck had collard green egg rolls. I don't know what they put in them, but we got to figure it out. And so she came home, and we tested these recipes out. We played with it, and we came up with the perfect recipe. And so I put it on the menu, and it hit. Like, people in Memphis, some people for a while didn't even know my name. They just knew the guy. I was the guy who made the collard green egg rolls. And it was just a big staple. It became a staple without me even really having to try hard. I wish I could take all of the credit, but that was a family joint effort. My aunt even has a restaurant in Memphis where she sells them. It's just not my shining star. However, it's really, really good for business. And what's inside of them is collard greens that I make cooked nice and slow with smoked turkey. That I pull that smoked turkey meat off, drain it, add some yellow rice with saffron, wrap it up in an egg roll wrapper, fry it, and then I make some candied yam. So I can use all of that candied yam juice, and we dip the egg roll in the candied yam juice.
Oh wow. Okay, so D, before you make we're not even halfway done, and you're already making me hungry. So we have here now. We purchased ours already minced, and what exactly does it mean to have minced?
So minced is just like finely chopped garlic. It's basically like you would finely dice an onion, or you would finely dice a bell pepper. Mincing garlic is basically getting that as finely chopped as you possibly can.
All right, so we're ahead of the game. So for those who wanted to do it a little easier and purchase it already minced, how many teaspoons or tablespoons do we need of the garlic?
For the sake, how many lamb chops do you have over there?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 total.
I would say 2 cloves of garlic is plenty. But if you're feeling really, really spicy and you're a person who doesn't mind garlic, I would.
Okay, first of all, let's stop right there, because one thing about this gentleman, he would spice it up in a minute. So let's be clear about what it means to spice it up. Let's be more specific.
Oh, so I sometimes when I say spice it up, I don't necessarily mean spice. In this particular moment, I was talking about the garlic. Right. I'm just saying the more you can use as much or as little garlic as you want to.
Okay, garlic
I was just it has a very, very strong flavor. It has a very neutral flavor that pairs well with most things, and it doesn't have a sodium content in it. So you can use it.
So should we start rubbing it in the lamb chops, or should we wait?
So not yet. So what I'm doing now is I took my garlic off. I'm gonna move my camera so you can see here.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn this thing around. All right, so you can see I have my garlic here already messed up, and so now I'm taking my rosemary off of the stems, and I'm gonna chop that up with my garlic.
All right, let's chop up this rosemary.
And so what it's gonna become is like a rosemary garlic paste.
Right, how you take out the stem?
So I'm taking that rosemary and I'm taking that garlic and I'm chopping it up together.
Okay.
Are we just shucking it?
Are we gonna shuck it? Or are we just gonna chop the rosemary?
Take this rosemary and you want to take it off the sprig. You can just like that.
Okay. So it's almost like a switch. So right before you're about to be a kid. Okay.
You know about that?
Get your whooping right before you
get that whooping.
Okay. Yeah, you sound like you're from the South having to go get switches.
I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, man. I feel like that's even more southern than Memphis.
I agree. Touche. All right. So I'm chopping up this rosemary that I took off of the stem.
Okay.
And I'm just dicing it up really. I'm trying to get it as small as I possibly can as well. And forgive me if you keep hearing me sniff. It's not because I have the COVID, guys. I promise I've been tested. It's just my sinuses. It's a nice spring day here. And then tomorrow's going to be a winter day. And the day after that is going to be a spring day again. And my body is just confused. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me show you here. I have my rosemary and I have my garlic, and I'm gonna mix it together.
Wait.
Once I mix it together, I'm gonna keep chopping it, and that's creating my garlic rosemary paste.
So you said 4 teaspoons, correct?
So I would start with 2 teaspoons for the chops that you have, but if you are a person who loves garlic, who doesn't mind that garlic flavor, then you can put as much as you want. But I would start with 2 and go anything beyond that is the extra that you desire.
All righty.
And so once you're done chopping it all together, you should have a really finely chopped garlic and rosemary paste sitting at the edge of your cutting board. Oh, good job.
I feel like I'm just the one who just add the little stuff. Where Greg is the expert. I'm
not an expert.
I'm the one who I'll pour and I'll stir.
You're doing a good job, friend. Whoever
Good job,
you're doing a good job. You want to chop that up nice and fine. All right, so I'm good to go over here. How are you guys looking?
We're doing. How does this look? How does this look?
It looks really good. It looks just like mine.
Uh-oh.
Look at that.
Greg, I think this is your calling, brother.
Y'all do like to cook.
Look at he doing another stem. You getting a little extra with it.
We're going for extra credit. Listen, I'm not your teacher. Ain't no extra credit over here. All right. So now that I'm done mincing my garlic rosemary paste, I have my lamb chops sitting out here on my cutting board.
Okay.
So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to season these, drizzle these with a little bit of olive oil.
Okay, I can do that part.
Show out, friend. And then I'm going to sprinkle the sea salt on all of the lamb chops on that one side liberally. So,
all right.
Fresh
I can do that too.
Fresh sea salt.
Do a little sprinkle.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Fresh black pepper. I like extra heat, so I'm going to use fresh red pepper in this case. And then after the salt and pepper, you want to take a little bit of your garlic rosemary paste and put it on each chop and massage that in. And when I say massage it, I want you to massage it like it's a human body. Like this is Bay after a long day and you really trying to like relieve that stress and calm Bay down. Massage this lamb chop the same way. Get it all into the crevices. And so what you're massaging inside of this is salt, pepper, garlic, rosemary. All of that flavor is getting into olive oil. All of that flavor is getting into the lamb. Let me figure out how to turn this camera around so you guys can get a better view. Give me 1 second here. You guys doing all right?
Massaging it it puts the ingredients inside of the meat, and does it make it more tender?
Say that one more time. I couldn't hear you for a little bit.
So massaging the meat, it makes it more tender, and it puts the seasonings more inside of the actual meat. Correct?
It does make it more tender, but more so than that, it just makes sure that your meat, your seasoning, and all of your flavor is evenly distributed.
Awesome.
All right, so now we're going to turn each chop over.
All right.
And do the exact same thing on the other side.
A little
bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, and some of our garlic rosemary paste.
All right, so I will drizzle a little olive oil.
real quick.
And Greg is about to start shopping. All right. While shopping and doing the same thing on the other side, we're going to take a quick commercial break. So make sure you stay tuned in. We'll be right back with the author.
It's time to step up, prep up.
Step up, prep up.
To help keep you free from the risk of HIV.
From the makers of Truvada, there's another PrEP option, Descovy for PrEP, a once-daily prescription medicine that helps lower the chances of getting HIV through sex. It's not for everyone. Descovy for PrEP has not been studied in people assigned female at birth. Talk to your doctor to find out if it's right for you.
Step up for health and body.
Prep up for your one and only love, or many loves. For kings, this queen, and you royals in between. For my now.
Our now.
And my future.
Our future.
Step up, prep up. Descovy is another way to prep. Descovy does not prevent other sexually transmitted infections, so it's important to use safer sex practices and get tested regularly. You must be HIV negative to take Descovy for PrEP, so you need to get tested for HIV immediately before and at least every 3 months while taking it. If you think you were exposed to HIV or have flu-like symptoms, tell your doctor right away. They may check to confirm you are still HIV negative. Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. The most common side effect was diarrhea. Tell your doctor about all the medicines and supplements you take, or if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Descovy without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about your risk of HIV, and if Descovy for PrEP is right for you.
Words are loud, but actions are louder.
Step up.
Prep up.
With Descovy for PrEP.
Get help paying for Descovy for PrEP. Learn more at stepupprepup.com.
Rhyme style disaster coming at ya.
Hey guys, welcome back to Outspoken. This episode is our cooking episode, and joining us is Mr. D. Author himself, also known as Desmond Robinson, and also joining me as my co-host for tonight is our chef extraordinaire, because I don't think I could have got through this without him. Thank you, God. Thank you, Greg. All right, so we added olive oil, we did the pepper, we did the sea salt, we did the garlic, and now, guys, we flipped it over, and we're doing the same thing on the other side. Again, we're making rosemary garlic lamb chops, and this is something that you can easily make while under an hour. Isn't that right, D?
Absolutely. It's going to take even less than that, actually.
Oh, so Liz, you can make this meal, go get dressed, go get ready, do what you have to do depending on what your position is, and then come back and ready to eat.
Absolutely. And so what we've done so far is we seasoned both sides of our lamb chops with olive oil, salt, pepper, and that rosemary garlic paste. We rubbed it in. Now, if you have some extra time on your hands and you really want that flavor to pop, you can throw these lamb chops in a Ziploc bag, add some fresh lemon juice or lime juice, maybe add a few of those extra sprigs of rosemary, and just let it sit for a couple of hours, even overnight. And that flavor is going to seal in even further. But for the sake of today, us completing this before the show is over today, we're going to go ahead and turn our skillet to medium-high heat and get this on the stove.
Okay. And you said we're going to turn the stove to medium-high heat. Oh, yes. Hold on for 1 second, sir.
That's a nice stove, friend.
Thanks, Antonio.
Thanks.
So I got my skillet here on medium-high heat.
Okay, so what is that in degrees?
So I see you have a gas stove. It's not going to tell you degrees. It might have numbers like 1 through 8, and if it's 1 through 8, you would put it on maybe like a 5.5. Sometimes it just has low, medium, high, and then it might say medium high. So you want to kind of gauge whatever like the mid of high is on your stove. You want to gauge it.
All right.
All right. And so then while that's going, you want to put maybe about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into your skillet.
That look more than 2 tablespoons, Dave.
What'd you say?
That look like way more than 2 tablespoons. Just like you
Let me tell you something. I eyeball like a grandma.
Right.
It might
I
be.
got you covered.
You're like, we couldn't measure this. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh my gosh.
All right, and we want to get that nice and hot. It should only take a couple minutes. You'll know that your oil is hot because it'll start moving around your skillet kind of like it's floating or gliding around it. And once your
Awesome. So
skillet
while that is
hot,
waiting,
we want
so
to
while
take
that
the
is waiting,
nice and hot. We want to take our lamb chops and put it down. We want to cook these for about 2.5 minutes on each side, but you want to make sure that your skillet is nice and hot first.
okay, 2.5 minutes on each side. Gotcha. So while this is
I like
waiting
my
to
lamb
be
to be a nice medium or a nice medium well.
okay,
So because these are fairly thin, about 2.5 minutes on each side will do just that.
okay. So D, while we're still waiting for these for our pan to get hot, so what inspired you to want to cook? And also D, with after you answer that, what in like with our day and age, our digital day and age, everybody is marketing on being a chef, of being the best, of having the best tasting food. How do you set yourself apart from social media and digital age?
All right. So before I answer that question, I'm gonna go ahead and put the lamb chop on because my oil is nice and hot and I don't want it to overheat.
All righty.
So I'm gonna throw this on here.
Ours is still waiting. We're almost there, dude. We are almost there.
And I'm gonna show you what that looks like.
Oh, that looks delicious.
All right. So to answer your question, honestly, I try to be as authentic as possible in everything that I do, and that works with food. That works in my career, and so forgive me, my sinuses are really bothering me here. But what I try to do is make food that I love, food that I would eat, food that I enjoy. So I don't try, at one point in my career, because I'm a self-taught chef, I found myself trying to make really impressive, chefy, gourmet food. And once I figured out to make the southern stuff that I like, just make it look really, really fancy, make it look really, really nice, that's what set me apart. I'm like, the southern guy who can make stuff that your grandmother can make, but just make it look like $1,000,000. And so, rather than trying to depart from that lane and trying to be fancier than I actually was, I celebrated where I was and tried to just kind of bring a lot of class to the recipes that I grew up on, and that's kind of taken my career pretty far.
Awesome. That is so inspiring.
Thank you.
All right. So finally, our heat up. We are cooling. We are starting to look just like you, sir. Oh, and it smells so good. You can smell the rosemary
I know, right? All those fresh flavors.
and garlic. It smells so good combined.
All right. Because the stove is nice and hot, I'm going to give these a nice turn.
Greg's over here throwing knives. So we put it in around what, 7:27.
Okay.
So around 7:29,
7:30.
7:30, we're gonna flip them. And guys, this was extremely easy. And we're gonna do it medium so we can taste that flavor. I don't like well done, Greg. It just seems a little burnt.
I'm medium.
I'm a medium guy.
If I feel it.
How we looking over there, friends?
If I-
Oh, this looks good. Good job.
And one thing, D, I do like about this wasn't really expensive. I went to Kroger. The rosemary was 98 cents. The lemon was 88 cents. Olive oil wasn't expensive. The garlic wasn't expensive. Like, this was a very inexpensive, quick meal to make.
It's inexpensive and impressive.
And impressive.
Might have to try this.
All right.
All right. What
Can you do this with a different protein?
So my lamb is doing really well over here. How about yours?
Hey D, can you do this with chicken, with fish, with anything?
So you can use the same seasoning profile and the same cooking technique, but however, the cooking time would be different. To get chicken to the internal temperature that it needs to be completely done, it would take a lot more time. Same thing with other food items. With the seasoning profile and the cooking technique, you can definitely reuse. All right, so I'm going to take my first set of lamb chops off. And because I have 8 over here, I'm going to go for the second set. Oh, yeah. Second set going down.
You got it, Greg. You got it. How does those look, D?
All right. The second set has gone down.
Now, D, also what a lot of people do know, and social media already knows, last week he was on the show Chopped.
I was. It was scary. It was so scary.
Congratulations, man. That is just so amazing. How did that process start? How did you get on the show? Tell us about it.
So, backstory, Chopped is like probably one of the biggest culinary platforms out right now. If you are a chef and you want to get your name out there, Chopped is probably one of the biggest, most competitive shows that you can do that on. However, the show is designed to kind of throw you off. It's designed to stress you out. It's designed to not necessarily as much about your cooking technique as it is how you can cook under pressure and work under strenuous circumstances. And so basically they take a box full of random ingredients that don't really look like they go together, and you have about 20 minutes to put a dish together, and you don't know what the ingredients are until you get there. So I've always been really, really intimidated by their platform, but I've never auditioned because I don't want to get on national TV in front of millions of people and not do well. And so I ignored all of the audition emails, and they interviewed. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm not really working as much as I normally work. I get this DM from the casting director, and I'm like, gosh, I can't run from this anymore. Like, I've run from all of the auditions, and here they are in my DMs. I was so nervous that I let it sit in my DM for maybe 2 or 3 days before I finally responded. They responded back like, "Oh, we love your work, we love your profile. We would like to, bring you in for audition, do a little Skype interview." I did the Skype interview, and you know how you do an interview and you can tell you really, really killed it. I killed the interview, and I was like, "Crap, I did so good. I'm probably gonna get this," because I kind of didn't want to get it. I didn't want to, I wanted to go for it to say that I tried, but I didn't want to actually make it. And so they told me I would hear back by a certain amount of time. I didn't. So then I was like, "Oh, good. I did make it. I can just work on all of the other projects I have going on." And then maybe 2 or 3 weeks after that deadline, I got an email saying that I had made the show, and I was like, "Oh shit, I actually got to do this now." Oh, forgive me for cursing. And so I did the show, and I'm really, really proud of the experience. It's a really, really scary experience. It's real TV. It's a real competition. Though it's reality TV, they give you 20 minutes to make that dish. They don't tell you what's in that basket, and that is very, very real. They have a big clock on the wall, and once that clock starts, it's very real. And you have 20 minutes. And so my episode, they gave us, it was bison themed. So bison kind of like the cow. The entire, like they give you a entree, an appetizer, entree, and dessert round. And each round was bison. And so they gave us bison short rib the first round. They gave us bison strip loin the second round. And it was like bison jerky and some other stuff the last round. And I'm really, really proud of the performance I did. Memphis was really, really proud. I represented the city really, really strongly. I think I represented self-taught chefs very, very strongly. It was a really, really good experience. And, my career, my phone is popping ever since I did it. My episode was last Tuesday, so a little over a week ago. And it's been a lot of really good feedback. I'm really proud of the experience, that I made myself do it, and the feedback from it.
Awesome. And I know the people in Memphis are going nuts because you rep them and the Southern cuisine so well.
I did. So I told myself when I got on the show, I'm going to step away from the stove so I can hear a little better. I told myself when I got on the show then listen, I'm not gonna go in there and be anybody else. Because for the longest, I was like, I have to do this. Like, I'm a self-taught chef, and so a lot of my backdrop, a lot of my insecurities have been like, I need to do this like real chefs. I need to do this like real chefs. I need to do this like real chefs. And it's like, no, friend, you are a real chef, and you got here by doing this type of work. And so get on TV and do what you know how to do. And so that's what I did. I was like, I know how to make these things. So no matter what you put in this basket, I'm gonna figure out how to make that. And that's what I did, and it worked out for me.
Awesome, man. We are proud of you. Okay,
Thank
you. Are we ready? How does it look? How does this?
It's looking good, friend.
Okay. So is it time to take it out?
Let me see the other side.
Oh, I put that already on.
I will let it cook for maybe about 2 more minutes on that side, then it'll be ready to go. Yours are really thicker than mine.
Let's see how yours look now. I want to see how yours look. We can do a compare and a contrast. Is the student going to outdo the teacher for this segment? Oh, no, buddy. Hold up now. Wait a minute. He did a whole... Okay, we got to go extra, Greg. We got a little rosemary left. We got a little rosemary. We can make it look cute.
Come on now. We got people watching.
He got his I made this meal for a reason type of. Oh man, he brought the presentation. I thought we was just coming to make some good food that tastes good. I didn't know we had a presentation and everything.
Oh, if you're a chef, everything goes back to presentation. It got to be sexy. We eat with our eyes and our nose before we actually taste anything.
All right. So we did the 2 minutes. Now we're going to take it off and put it on.
All right. And so mine are off. And this is what we have here. Can y'all see that okay?
Yes, that looks so good.
Ta-da!
All right, we finna die. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so now, after it comes out, after it's on the plate, after it's cooling off, what is the next process? You're muted right now, Desmond.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said that's it for this dish. You can let it rest for a little bit, then it's time to eat.
Okay. So when we come back, Desmond is going to tell us what type of sauce could possibly go on this lamb chop, and also more about his future aspirations, more about being a chef, and when we see him on anything else.
For people living with HIV, keep being you and ask your doctor about Biktarvy. Biktarvy is a complete one-pill, once-a-day treatment used for HIV in certain adults. It's not a cure, but with one small pill, Biktarvy fights HIV to help you get to and stay undetectable. That's when the amount of virus is so low, it cannot be measured by a lab test. Research shows people who take HIV treatment every day and get to and stay undetectable can no longer transmit HIV through sex.
Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare, life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. Do not take Biktarvy if you take dofetilide or rifampin. Tell your doctor about all the medicines and supplements you take if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Biktarvy without talking to your doctor. Common side effects were diarrhea, nausea, and headache.
If you're living with HIV, keep loving who you are and ask your doctor if Biktarvy is right for you.
Style disaster coming at you.
All right. Welcome back to Outspoken. We are here with D. Author. Now, D, you said that it's ready to go. I want you to taste yours first.
Okay.
Okay. And Greg is getting us some plates. We also have some wine here that we're going to eat with our lamb.
Oh, I have tequila with mine.
Oh.
Cheers, gentlemen.
You're a true Memphis.
What you say?
You're truly from Memphis.
Oh, yes. Through and through.
And one thing, when I put my fork in, it is so tender. It slides right in. It whatsoever. And it's just, oh my goodness. Greg, you 80% did this.
Drink of choice.
Mine is so good.
Oh gosh. Okay, it's time. It's time for the big try.
Dun dun dun.
You hope it's good. Okay.
I probably shouldn't be eating like this on camera, but
and it's so easy to cut through.
Desmond, stop sucking this bone in front of people. All right, let's see.
All right, let's get our second camera ready. Oh my God. Freak a date. This is like self-care. It is so good. And to be honest, like you said, as the name's called lamb chops, it tastes like a delicious pork chop. So I have a question the Southern me wants to ask. Is this good when fried?
I would not fry lamb.
People want to.
You can't put the same
I
seasoning.
think you're the only person who knows that. You're the only person who want to know that.
Oh my God. Okay. All right, D. So, D, you are challenged. Cheers to a delicious, delicious episode. This is so good. Okay, so first thing, so D, now that you did the show, what is next for you? You've been in 2 magazine articles in less than a week, and you are just keep on booming. So what's next?
We're riding the momentum from the show. I have a team in place. Right before the show was getting ready to air, put a team in place, have a solid publicist, solid stylists, a lot of solid photographers, videographers. Basically, I've been working on recipe content, planning to go really, really hard on that in the upcoming weeks. Before COVID, I started a fundraiser called Friendsgiving, which started off as like a holiday brunch in Memphis. And then in 2019, we went on tour with it to Houston and New York as well. And the plan in 2020 was to just go everywhere: Dallas, Nashville, LA, Houston, Dallas, all over everywhere. But COVID hit, and so we're already in talks about what that looks like for the fall. And so recipe videos, Friendsgiving, you'll probably see me on a lot of other platforms, a lot of podcasts, a lot of magazines, a lot of interviews, a lot of national media. And so right now is just a really good season in my career. Basically, this will be my 10th year. November will make 10 years in business. And this is just a really, really amazing way to go into my 10th year anniversary. And so with the team I have in place, we're riding the wave, we're riding the momentum, and we're hoping to create our own momentum. I'm really trying to create a culinary mogul brand stemming from the work I've done for the last 9 years, and taking advantage of the platform that Chop has given me.
Awesome. So let's talk about branding. Everybody can have everybody can't brand themselves well and market themselves well. What is the importance of true branding, especially as a chef? And how do you go about doing so?
For me, it goes back to authenticity. I learned earlier on in my career that the importance of being myself, being myself as a chef, being myself in the kitchen, being myself on all of the platforms that I have the opportunity to speak on, just being myself in any and every way that I can. And that has been truly rewarding to me in my business, because a lot of entrepreneurial or business books will tell you you're selling yourself. When you're selling your product, you're also selling yourself. And so I try to keep who I am and the work that I do and the people who I bring apart to be a part of that work all as aligned as possible. I try to make sure that I'm always being true to that, always being true to myself, always being true to my purpose, always being true to my clients, and that shows through my work. And so my tip on branding is like, figure out you, figure out your thing, figure out your gift, figure out what you're selling, and be as true to yourself as possible when you're doing that.
So, Dee, when you first came out as a cook, who were your first clients? Was it friends? Was it family? Who were your taste testers until you were able to perfect these recipes, make your signature dishes, and then become well known?
The very first event I had, a friend of mine from college was having a fashion pop-up shop, and then he allowed me to cater for free. He didn't have a budget for it. I was like, I'll do it for free. I just trying to get my name out there. He was my first client. My second client was my best friend. He turned 30, which is crazy because he's about to turn 30. But he was turning 30, and I catered his 30th birthday party. And I didn't have anything going for myself. Well, professionally, I was, the chef thing wasn't something I was really doing at the time. And so he took a real gamble on me, and I did a really good job with that. And it's just kind of growing from there, honestly.
Awesome. So can we expect a cookbook? The author's cookbooks, the author's Southern recipes, these collard green egg rolls. Can we expect a cookbook?
I'm going to give you a soft yes. I'm going to tell you there are a lot of things in motion right now. There are a lot of balls up in the air right now. And the cookbook is one of those balls. I just don't know how far up the list it is. All I can say is that in the next year or two, you're going to get a lot of content from me. And there will be a lot of different ways you can access recipes. Cookbook will eventually be one of them. It just won't be at the front of the list. I kind of want to just continue to build more of a solid reputation and become more of a household name. And at that point that I do a cookbook,
Awesome. So one of my couple last questions, Dee, what advice would you give to young chefs, generational D's, who are coming up, going to cooking school, or want to try to do it on their own and learn these on their own recipes? Like Greg, I said generational Z's.
I'm only 20.
Honestly, I would say be true to yourself, but also figure out what makes you unique. I knew that, the first time I got an opportunity, I knew that I couldn't make hot wings, meatballs, rotel, and spinach dip like everybody else. I knew that what I made had to stick out. So I made my dishes as Southern and familiar as possible, but as fancy as possible and as elegantly displayed as possible. And that was the thing that made me stand out. And so whatever that thing is that is A, true to you, but B, also makes you stand out, figure out what that is. I was talking to a chef the other day, and he makes ribs and fries fish, which is not a new concept in Memphis. But I was telling him, listen, nobody is making experiences out of this. Yes, you can go to a barbecue shop and order a platter of ribs and put them in a Schaefer dish. But what if you figure out how to make a really cute ass station and just have ribs displayed in a way people have never seen it before, and had fried chicken or fried catfish and all of these things that they love displayed in a way that people haven't seen it before, and then you become to be known as the guy who does that thing very, very well, and that's how you take off. And so, yes, A, be authentic to yourself, as authentic as you possibly can be, and B, figure out how to stand out within that authenticity.
CD, now we need to add shelf consultant to your repertoire, so you can start giving getting paid to give people ideas.
I'll take
Don't
it.
give them out for free now, D.
Listen, we get the coin every way we can get it in 2021.
Right. So the one question that I always ask everyone at the end of every interview, if you could go back in time to any age and any time for 5 minutes, what age would that be, and what would you say to yourself in those 5 minutes?
Oh my God, that is such a question. Let me think for just a quick second. I would probably go to myself in my college days. I don't know. There's so many periods in my life where I would probably go back to my college days, just because I was going through a lot in my college days with identity. And, I was president of a lot of organizations, so I was very popular on campus, but I was also struggling with my sexuality at the time, so I didn't know how to manage that completely. I wanted to be a chef, but nothing that I was doing at the time was leading me in a direction. I was a communications major. And if you could have told me then that I would be living the life that I live now, I wouldn't have believed you. And so, there was a lot of rumors about my sexuality. Plus, life was beautiful, but also a hot ass mess at the same time. And so I would go back to that version of myself and just be like, hey, friend, a couple of years from now, you are going to be doing better than great. It is all worth it. Just keep figuring it out. Keep doing you. Keep being good to people. Keep doing good work. Keep putting good out in the universe. At some point, it's going to align. It's going to align more beautifully than you ever could have imagined. And so, yeah.
Oh, Bobby, that is amazing. And I just want to say congratulations for not giving up on your dream, for finding out more about yourself and who you are, and also following your purpose. And thank you also for joining us tonight, teaching us how to make an amazing meal that we're going to use in the future.
The first time you pull these out for date night, I need a text.
Yeah.
That's why be chicken.
Shoot me a text saying, hey, listen, I made these, and listen.
You might get an invite to the wedding, D. I mean, do a whole shout out.
Let me tell you something. I'll be there.
Thank you, D. Because if it wasn't for these lambs, I wouldn't be here. So D, you just did a whole thing. Thank you.
You're very welcome, my friend.
Do it right. D, you're gonna be doing
the wedding.
Because you're gonna pop, D. You're getting ready to pop. So if I can afford you then when I get married, hopefully we'll both be popping in our own areas.
Let me tell you something now, friend. I am gonna be very expensive. However, I'm gonna pray a prayer over your life that you can afford it. Amen. Amen.
Please say this part, but you can afford it.
You can afford it.
Listen, we're gonna say the same prayer. Lord, I'm gonna be high, but he got it. Amen.
Oh God.
He just prayed that you can afford it.
Amen. Oh God, again, D, thank you so much. Thank you, Greg, for helping me to cook this amazing dinner, because Lord knows I couldn't do it by myself. Thank you, D, for taking your time out this evening to be with us. Thank you to our viewers. Now, guys, make sure you tune in next Thursday. It's going to be quite an interesting episode. We're going to do an episode on life after porn. We're going to be interviewing four retired pornographers who some who got out for different reasons, from religion to mental health to wanting a change in career, also talking about their dealings with drugs, also talking about their dealings with losing family and also friends. Make sure it's something you don't want to miss, so make sure you tune in next Thursday. Thank you for watching Outspoken. Good night.